More freedom didn't help my creative work, but better structure did. Structure is the only reason I'm able to do my creative work and still be present at home. How's it going, everybody? My name is Tony, and I am a director DP in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. This channel is for really even both new and seasoned creatives who are just trying to navigate this whole creative process space. That's enough about me. Let's go ahead and dive on in. Now, I used to think that being really anal about structure and organization would kill my creative process and kind of just mumble it all up and put myself in a box, but it was actually just drowning me in chaos. I was afraid that if I put myself in this box and set all these rules that it would just limit my possibilities, but in reality, they were safeguards. They were boundaries to ensure I was maintaining both my creativity, but also my work-life balance. And I feel like a lot of us in the creative space avoid structure and organization, or, just being really anal about stuff because we just had bad experiences in the past, or we're trying to avoid what we see other people go through in their corporate lives. Maybe you had a bad boss and the way he was actually treating you made you feel like, oh man, I'm never gonna make someone else feel this way. So you're trying to avoid those things, right? We're avoiding all this stuff, all this structure, all this organization out of fear of being the people who kind of put us in a box before, and we don't want to do that. We want to run our lives and live our lives the way we want. But the unfortunate reality is, if we don't have that structure, if we don't have that organization, our work begins to bleed into other parts of our lives. Because of the lack of structure, it bleeds into our personal lives, whether you're working on the weekends or taking time away from family or staying up late trying to complete a video. And it's taken away from our creativity as well, because we're just getting burnt out over everything. For me, without structure, what I was seeing was that I was just saying yes to just about everything without really looking into what else I had planned. I was working whenever I found time, whether that was early in the morning, in the middle of the day, late at night, on the weekend. Like, if there was time, sure, I'm gonna use up that time to do just that, work. I was finding myself just all over the place, just working to the bone, because I was like, hey, I have free time, so I should be doing something, right? I should be working. When in reality, again, that was just killing me. So because of all of that, I realized I needed to start working when I could and start figuring out when I should. I tried doing a little bit of everything. Started off with just taking notes on stuff, but that really wasn't enough. I was just taking notes. I'm like, okay, cool, now what do I do with these notes? What started to help was once I realized, okay, I need to actually figure out what I'm going to be doing on my day-to-day. Once I knew what I was trying to do for the entire week, it then became easy. Okay, what do I need to do by the day? Okay, I need to now schedule certain times throughout the day to be specific editing time. I need to set some time to be researching maybe what I want to go do with my wife on that date night. Am I waking up early enough on time to do my workouts, figuring out how much time I actually need to do that and maintain that healthy lifestyle. And all while figuring out where I wanted that time to go, I needed to figure out what also hard boundaries and blocks I wanted to keep for myself. I really wanted to stop working on the weekends because I was missing out on family time, missing out on doing other things with friends, and I knew I needed to get my weekends back. So if that's something that you personally want to do, you definitely need to have those hard boundaries and say, my weekends are for me, my weekends are for my family, or whatever they may be for. You have to hold those boundaries and respect those boundaries for yourself, because if you don't, no one else will. Now, I said some things about how I knew what I wanted to get done during the day. Let me break that down so you have a practical example of what I personally do, so maybe this is something you can implement. Another thing I really wanted to solve is that I was just having meetings throughout the week all over the place, just willy-nilly whenever I had time, right? What I ended up doing was setting aside Mondays as my admin day, meaning all things that had to happen behind the scenes of my business, all my meetings that I wanted to have, they were going to be designated for a Monday. And on Monday, I knew I was just going to be in front of the computer most of the time, not doing anything creative, not editing at all. It was just purely admin. And that really helped, because then I knew exactly if someone was like, hey, Tony, can we have a meeting about something? Or there's a potential client coming in and I'm going to set up an introduction call. Where's that meeting going to go? Well, most likely it's going to go Monday, first and foremost. Until that day is completely booked up with calls or meetings or whatever else I have going on, I'm going to designate that time for anybody who wants to meet me on Monday. And then I set aside specific editing days. The days I typically didn't film with clients, because I realized a lot of them didn't like to, were Tuesdays and Fridays. And so those were kind of my open days to do some other sort of work. So those became my additional editing days / admin days or spillover days. More specifically, Tuesday became an editing day and Friday kind of became a flex day because it was going into the weekend. I didn't want to be swamped with a whole bunch of stuff on Friday. So Friday was like, okay, if I absolutely need to schedule something, then I'll put that additional time on Friday. But it has to be light enough to where I'm going into my weekend not stressed and thinking, oh, I didn't complete this one big thing. I should put a lot of my main editing on Tuesdays. And then Thursdays seem to be a very common day I was filming, so I just put filming. On Thursdays, I'm always filming something, and whether it's for me personally, whether it's for a client, what have you, I'm doing some sort of filming on a Thursday. I'm filming this video, guess what, on a Thursday, because that's where I schedule that time to be. And then Wednesday became kind of a flex editing and filming day because there were some random days where I would end up filming. So to break it all down again, Mondays was admin, Tuesdays is editing, Wednesdays is a flex of editing and filming, Thursdays is filming, and then Friday is my editing and slash flex ease into my weekend type of day. It's a day I kind of put a bow on everything just to make sure everything was wrapped throughout the week, and I can start my next week with a good foot to know that, okay, these are the things I need to do next to ensure things are just moving forward. Doing this, my calendar began to reflect what I found important, what my values were, rather than it just be all over the place and be chaos. Your calendar, the way you structure your time, should be based on your values and what you want to do, not based solely on what the workload is. Because when you base it solely on workload, you'll end up just see like, oh, you know what, I have some time, I could stay up late, sure, why not? It's reflecting that you just want to get the job done and that you're just trying to rush it versus actually do it the right way and what aligns with what you actually want to achieve. So if you find that you're just nonstop working just because you're working to work, and anytime you find time that's open, you're probably going to be working, or maybe you're feeling less creative because there's just so much going on, there's a lot of chaos happening, or maybe you feel that you're not as present with your family, or you're not as present with your friends, maybe you're not getting to go to that D&D night that you really wanted to do, what have you, it's probably because you have a productivity structure issue. Because when you have structure, you get to feel present, not only with your family, but within your work. And you don't feel guilty for having to step away to go do something because you already know that you set a time for working, set a time to be present with family, and it's not gonna clash within each other because you've respected both. And you'll find that you're a lot more focused too, because when you're in those specific blocks that you said, I'm gonna do a certain thing on, like for me, when I'm editing, I am in the zone. I am focused on editing because I know there's nothing else I need to worry about that day. I am only editing. Same thing when I'm with my meetings and I'm talking to different people. I'm not worried about editing. I'm not worried about filming because today I'm just talking and just meeting with people and coming up with plans and looking at my admin stuff. That's the day for that. It allows you to have a lot more breathing room, for lack of better words. Like in my mind, when I think about it, I can just be present with the work that I'm doing and my mind isn't spilling over onto the other things I have to do because I already know I've properly scheduled that time to work on that later. That's it for this video. I mean, the main purpose of this one was for the younger me who was just struggling to figure out how am I gonna go enjoy my time when I just have so much work. And I was just frantic. I was just being reactive instead of just coming up with a plan that was gonna better serve me and my family. I wish someone would have told me this early on how to start scheduling out my time and then holding those boundaries because your time matters. And if you don't respect those boundaries, no one will. And if there's other things that maybe you're struggling with in your business, by all means, leave a comment down below. And if we can work it through, maybe it's a challenge that I've been through, or maybe someone else in the comments has, you know, dealt with it before, feel free to drop below. My goal is to have this again as a space to where anybody can come to just learn and grow their business as a creative, as a business owner, what have you in the creative space. Structure does not kill your creativity. If anything, it gives it the room and the space to grow. So if you don't want to be losing time away from family, if you don't want to be working manically on different projects and maybe killing your creativity in the term because there's just so many other things you want to work on that it's just all over the place, you don't have clear direction, structure, and some organization will definitely put a lot of things into perspective for you. All right, that's it for this one. See you on the next one.